Well, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow we got a little special project. So just got done speaking with an elderly gentleman who has been having some issues with walking lately, and he's in his mid 80s, and he's been having some issues falling backwards. And he said the good Lord spoke to him and wanted him to build this piece, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do, because this is his design and what he wants done, which I think is actually going to help him some. So we're going to take some canes and a few other little things, and you'll see what we'll do here in just a bit, but stay tuned. So this is kind of his design and layout for what he's wanting done. He's wanting to put these three canes together here just so he has a wider footprint, both forward, backwards, and left and right. Really got me to thinking about a lot of things, and I feel like, you know, I think we all try to plan for retirement and plan for our future and plan for those things. But, you know, we don't necessarily know how the future is going to be. We don't know how bad inflation is going to be. We don't know how bad of cost of things are going to be. And, you know, it's pretty heartbreaking to see that guy yesterday. I mean, he said 6 months ago he started having this issue where he couldn't walk. He was always falling over. He said God spoke to him and told him, you know, this was the way to do it. Put these three canes together. So he wants to do it that way. And, you know, I think it'll help him. But, you know, seeing him stressed about the money, he's like, I really don't have a whole lot of money. He's like, I just need to know a price before you do it. And I never give him a price. And I told him I'd call him back and let him know a price on it. But the reality is I'm just going to do it and give it to him because, you know, you know, I'm in the position that I can do that. And it's not, you know, it's not really going to hurt me any by any means. But, you know, it could mean the world to him, and seeing how stressed he was about it, I really think it probably could have, you know, it means a lot to him, probably the amount of money it could have cost. So he had talked about using some channel, but, you know, I had some C channel here that you know, he wanted some aluminum C channel, but it's just way too heavy for him to hold these three canes and to walk with these three canes the way he's trying to put them together. You know, that's just going to be too much. So what we're actually going to do material wise today, we're going to use some 1/8 aluminum. We're going to shear it up, we're going to bend it up and make our own C channel with it, and we're going to make a T-shaped piece. We're going to take two pieces and make a C-shaped piece and weld it up for him. So let's get to it. All right, so one of the most famous questions, if you want to call it famous, that we get asked is, do you have any scrap? Well, honestly, no. We pretty much use everything down to the last bit. That's why you see a whole pile of stuff here. You never know what you're going to get into. All right, so here we've got our plate. It's a piece of 1/8 inch aluminum that we're taking. We're going to shear down two pieces. One of them's going to be 12.5 inches long by 5 inches wide, and the other will be 5.5 inches long by 6 inches wide. This will make us a 3-inch and a 4-inch channel to make here. Just measuring and marking everything out, putting it through the shear and letting it go. All right, now here we get over here to our brake, and I'm just going to sit here and put two 90-degree bends, one on each side, just to make us a U-channel piece, make it good and strong, so when you put some pressure on this thing, it doesn't want to bend with you. All right, so now we're just going to take this, and I'm going to weld these two pieces together and put this in the center, and that should be what he needs. All right, so we're just going to measure this thing out and get it good in the center where we want it at. And then here I'm using actually a 40-43 rod that's just 3/32, tacking the top side, and then I come back and weld this bottom first all the way across. As I said before, I'm not really much of a welder, but I'm good enough to get the job done. It just ain't the prettiest you see. So here I'm flipping it over, and then I just weld these inside parts here. Just kind of making sure I get them, you know, this thing welded on both sides good and strong, the way you would never have an issue with this thing.
Don't stick the tip in it.
All right, as you just seen there, I stuck the darn tip in the metal and bundled it up. So now we had to clean it off, grind it down, get a new point back on it. All right, so now this thing is cool to the touch. Now it's time for us to lay out the 3 holes that we've got to put in here for his cane to go through. The way he's going to push these canes up through there, we've got to put a clearance of about 1 3/16 inches. So we got to go about at least 1 1/4 to make sure we got plenty of clearance. All right, we're gonna have a quick little session on exactly what is unibits or step bits, whatever you want to call them. All right, as you can see here, this is what's known as a step bit or a unibit, and I bet you can't guess the reason why. So yes, it has all these different steps in there, and if you take a close look, these things actually have the sizes on there. I believe this one goes from like 1/4 inch up to 1 3/8 inches. These are great for anything that is thin. If you're doing thin material, whether it be steel or aluminum, anything thin, those do really well. You're able to open up to good, bigger sizes. You don't have to worry about it snatching and grabbing as much. This is a typical drill bit, but it's one size all the way down. I mean, until you get to the shank, but it actually drills this one size all the way through, no matter how deep you go. That's the beauty of a step bit. For him, I want to go 1 1/4 inch because he had it was about 1 3/16 inches at the bottom of the base on the canes. We want to make sure we have a little bit of clearance. He can kind of adjust it to get it exactly where he wants it and then lock them in. So let's get back. All right, so here we are just using this bit, kind of stepping down. I'm trying to make sure I wasn't having anything clog up on it. And just nice and easy, except for, yep, yours truly still got it stuck in there, but it's all right. Pull it out, get it back going. You see me go through on this one side, then I'll flip it over here in just a second, and I'll come back on the back side just to kind of chamfer it a little bit. All right, folks, that's pretty much the finished product. So he can now take that and put his canes through it and then bolt his canes up, and he should be good to go. So all right, the gentleman that I made this for is pulling in. I know it's his truck, so let's go see.
That looks beautiful.
Does that look like what you wanted?
Yes, sir. That's beautiful.
Well, hopefully it'll get you going.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've been over to Walmart Druggers and got the same medication on them.
yeah. Well, I'm glad you called. I called you early, left you a message. I didn't know if you got it or not to come by, but I didn't put the little holes in it. I figured you wanted to do that, so
Yeah, I do that.
it's pretty dang stout and stiff, so you ought to be it ought to work for you, I think. So
You think I'll leave it right like that or paint?
it ain't gonna hurt it either way. With it being aluminum, it ain't gonna rust. It ain't gonna, nothing will happen to it. So if you want to leave it raw, you can leave it raw. If you want to put paint on it, you can put some on it. I'd probably, it's up to you really. If you're gonna paint it, I may would try to get some of that self-etching primer and put on there. Scuff it up real good, put some of that self-etching primer on there. But you can leave it raw and it ain't gonna hurt anything. Just all how you want to make it look.
Okay.
So
How much owe you?
you don't owe me nothing.
God bless you.
So I want you to have it, and I want you to dang be able to walk good with it. Hopefully don't fall no more.
Me too,
So-
boy. I'm telling you.
Man, it was awesome to see him excited about it. I don't think he expected it, and I think when he did see it, he's like, all right, how much is this going to cost? But once I told him he was just going to take it, he was pretty happy about it. So glad that he's able to hopefully get back up and walking and not falling. He just told me on Sunday that he had fell and spent 30 minutes in the driveway. So hopefully this will help him, at least let him continue walking, and maybe the doctors can get this figured out. He's been going to a bunch of specialists, so hopefully they get figured out what's going on with him. He said this came on about 6 months ago, so I hate it for him, but hopefully he gets better and continues on with a good, healthy life. But that's it for this one. Catch you next time.